In any year in which a change in the level assessment of 15% or more is certified for a final assessment roll pursuant to the rules of the State Board of ORPS, the exemption base shall be multiplied by a fraction, the numerator of which shall be the total assessed value of the parcel. On such final assessment roll, after accounting for any physical or quantity changes for the parcel since the immediate preceding assessment roll, and the denominator of which shall be the total assessed value of the parcel on the immediately preceding final assessment roll. The result shall be the new exemption base. The exemption shall therefore or thereupon be recomputed to take into account the new exemption base, notwithstanding the fact that the assessor receives certification of the change in the level of assessment after the completion, verification, and filing of the final assessment roll. In the event that the assessor does not have custody of the roll, when such certification is received, the assessor shall certify the recomputed exemption in a manner authorized by the New York State Real Property Tax Law. Section C. The exemption shall be limited to a maximum of $80,000 and increased market value of the property attributable to such reconstruction, alteration, or improvement, and any increase in the market value shall not be eligible for any exemption pursuant to this article. The market value of each of such reconstruction, alteration, or improvement shall be equal to the increased assessed value attributable to such reconstruction, alteration, or improvement divided by the most recently established state equalization rate or special equalization rate, unless such rate is 95% or more, in which case the increase in assessed value attributable to such reconstruction, alteration, or improvement to be considered equal to the market value. 263-23 requirements. No exemption
Stipulate?
pursuant to this article shall be granted for reconstruction, alteration, or improvement unless, Section A, such reconstruction, alteration, or improvement was commenced subsequent to the effective date of this article. Section B, the value of such reconstruction, alteration, or improvement exceeds $3,000. Section C, the greater portion as so determined by the square footage of the building, reconstruction, altered, or improved, is at least 5 years old. Section D, reconstruction, alteration, or improvement is not ordinarily maintenance or repairs. 263-24, exemption discontinuance. Section A, in the event that a building granted an exemption pursuant to this article ceases to be used primarily for residential purposes, to the title thereto is transferred to other than hears or distributes the owner, the exemption granted pursuant to this article shall cease. Section B, upon determining that an exemption granted pursuant of this article should be discontinued, the assessor shall mail a notice so stating to the owner of the owners thereof at the time of the manner provided by 510 of the New York State Real Property Tax Law. Such owners or owner shall be entitled to seek alternative or judicial review of such action in the manner providing by law, provided that the burden shall be on such owner or owners to establish eligibility or of the exemption. 263-25, time to file the application. Any exemption pursuant to this article shall be granted only upon application by the owner thereof on the form prescribed by the State Board. The application shall be filed within the assessor's office of the town proper on or before the taxable status date of March 1st. To be eligible, the exemption to be entered in the assessment roll prepared on the basis of said taxable status date. Improvements to residential buildings must be completed to qualify the exemption pursuant to this article. 263-26, effective date. Section 3, this local law shall take effect immediately upon filing of this local law in Secretary of the State of New York. Be it further resolved that the village is hereby authorized to cause notice of the public hearing to be published in the Observer as required by law. Anybody want to second that?
Second. Sorry.
Sarah, you might fall asleep because I was about
It
ready.
may have been a long resolution.
I'm glad I brought that
It
one.
may have been a long one. You got to be glad to read that as opposed to the chemicals Joe had to read tonight.
I know said flocculence any day over this, but it doesn't.
You're going to get one more try yet. So.
All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Whereas Mark Kleeman has requested permission to remove the sidewalk in front of his premises on north side of Gardner Street, 31 Gardner Street, and whereas in accordance with section 240-6 of the Code of the Village of Fredonia, the building inspector has examined the premises and reports that approximately 38.9% of Gardner Street and north side has sidewalks, and only the adjoining neighbor on the west of Kleeman premises has a sidewalk. Now therefore be resolved that the request to remove the sidewalk in front of Mr. Kleeman's premises at 31 Gardner Street is hereby granted.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Whereas Roland Rose has requested a permission to remove the Douglas Street sidewalk in front of his premises at 34 Houghton Street, which is a corner lot situated on the corner of Houghton Street and Douglas Street, and whereas in accordance with section 240-6 of the Code of the Village of Fredonia, the building inspector has examined the premises and reports that approximately 10.1% of Douglas Street on his side of Douglas Street has sidewalks, and there is no adjoining sidewalk and thus falls within the permitted standards for removal. Now therefore be it resolved that the request to remove the sidewalk in front of Mr. Rose's premises at 34 Houghton Street is hereby granted.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Any other resolutions?
No. That's it.
For anyone interested, Boston has the 2-1 lead right now,
Oh, crap.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
so there's no real rush to go anywhere.
What,
A period.
how far in?
Second period.
Oh.
I'm trying to get the time now.
I got
Joe?
something I want to say.
Yeah,
Guys. Be aware that on Central Avenue, we did start that project by the college entrance. So if you do work in Gunter coming from Fredonia, give yourself a little bit of time because it does get a little packed between the light there. So just be courteous and it'll be over with before you know it.